It is 10:01 and it is time for our budget workshop approval. Scratch, bend, move, wiggle, whatever we can get done.
Final chapter.
And final chapter, so Mr. Rosedale can publish on Monday.
With Nancy doing the heavy lifting on today.
So the new enhancement list that I've provided to you took out everything that everybody scratched off. So this is the list of what you guys tentatively approved. So you tentatively approved $1,473,626. Of that amount, $530,566 will be paid from fees that are not from other sources like solid waste or the 911 line fees. And some other small ones here or there. So that left a balance of $943,000 that we would need to add to the levy. And I think Mike and I explained that we had about $500,000 that we could move, which would be one time in nature from other funds that have some excess dollars in them, which means that there is still an addition of $443,060 that would be added to the levy. We also talked about the 3% COLA, which would cost $747,000. And then just below what that number represents is of the enhancements that you approved, those will become permanent for future budgets, which is about $396,000.
So with that, you can keep the 3% COLA, but we need $443,000, and we have we can use mini ARPA for that, or we can decrease enhancements, or the one-offs.
Okay.
So those are the options. I would say it appears to me that everybody's enhancements are. You went through those pretty tightly seen, and most of them are very, very important. I would consider using the mini ARPA for that.
I stand by I don't think it's appropriate for the board to give out bonuses to one group of people if it's not if we don't have the availability to do merit increases for the organization, that we should not be picking departments to give merit increase or a bonus to. There's a lot of people that have had to deal with a lot of things in business, and that's not reasonable in my opinion. So I would like to have that discussion as to, I think it's been 3 years since we've done merit increases, correct, HR?
2 for sure, yes.
It's not, there's a lot of department heads that want to make sure that their people are taken care of, and one of the things that this budget season shows is we have departments that come to us throughout the year to say we need to keep our people, we need to give them raises, and they give them the raises out of their budget. And then those same departments have to then come here for enhancements, which the enhancements are things that they need. And what I see is that they're trying to protect their base of people that help their departments function when they have the control over it, because the board isn't having the same process by which we elevate people's pay in the county. And that creates for a long-term problem, not just in your budget, but also in the atmosphere of the county building. And I strongly disagree with one grouping of people. It shouldn't feel like because the commissioners are in charge of the budget that extends. I should have to show you the process. For example, if we have a merit increase, then there's a process by which we make that decision, not just picking and choosing. I could make an argument that Road and Bridge, they fixed a whole stinking culvert in less than 4 weeks. Why didn't they get something?
You don't have to sell or persuade me.
The people here were not part of the conversation, and so I'm wanting to make it very clear that this is not, in my opinion, appropriate to do as we look to having to add to our base budget, as we look to having crossed off areas of things people needed to run their departments, that we choose to give one group of people a bonus.
Well, I believe that.
Can I say one thing before you?
Oh,
So
yes.
in that line of thinking too, because the COLA is 3%. We have, which another tranche coming in, the mini ARPA will be about $2,160,000. So to go on, if you think like, well, we can do the 3% and maybe this year, which is a one-time bonus, so everyone is included in that. That is an option that we're just presenting to the board. That's up for you guys to decide if you want to take some of those dollars and distribute it out.
But that's not, we're not a private company, and that's not what we're supposed to do.
Well, in a
I'm
private-
just saying it's an
In
option.
a private company, it's quite common across the world. When you have an employee that does something that's a little above and beyond, that they get bonused or compensated because of that, took on extra duties, whatever. It does not include everybody in the factory, everybody on the roof crew. It includes those people that had to do something that was above and beyond what theirs was. And the VOCC office since January has been tumultuous, to say the least. And I would actually move that go right back to 2 per person, which would make it a total of 6,000, simply because of the air that's in the building.
You put
And
resources on.
you know what? I don't
every
care what you
week.
think about what I'm saying. I said nothing about what you said. So I will speak, and when I finish, then you can talk. Is that fair enough? Respect goes 2 ways, Commissioner. Live with it. So that's my recommendation. Another recommendation I have is the sheriff has $630,000 unspent in technology. I would cut the technology enhancements and get what is available with that 617, and then we would look at it from there in the future. We'll use the money we have and not count on the money that we might get, and get that done. And those are my 2 recommendations today.
Is it the 165,200 that you're saying to cut from technology?
Yep, but he can come forth, if he needs it for vest, he can come forth in every Tuesday and say, I want to move this budget, this line item.
You can't do that.
You
It
can't
has
do
to
that?
be done now.
Oh, well,
And the money that Nancy was talking about is money that we have right now.
Right.
We know what I'm trying to say. Is
Yeah,
we
it's
do
already
have
in the budget.
No, what I'm trying to say is the ability to do the 3% we do have right now. It's not a hopeful prospective. You don't have to cut any of the enhancements
Okay.
to give people 3% this year.
But I wanted to make sure the employees are taken care of. Because if we don't have the employees, it won't matter what equipment and cars and
We're looking for
stuff they
about
have.
444 or 445,000 more.
you're looking for, but if we were to do that 165, then how much are you looking for? 280? So now,
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, that's up to you guys.
oh,
to-
well, I'm in
I mean,
support
if
of
you're
that.
gonna
I'm in,
start
and considering the
reducing,
conversation, so I believe it, thank Mr. Chairman. We don't, for the budget process, my understanding is that the budget process is not a negotiation as a town hall. The budget process is something where the Board of Commissioners receives the input, and then based on the statute, the Board of Commissioners makes it. Now, I understand that there are some people that are interested in turning it into something that it is not, but I am not one of them, and so I am in complete support of what the chairman just
Well, I
said.
just
Okay.
want to reiterate that some of these that you were talking about cutting are subscriptions that they have that they need to maintain.
Yeah, we would
Yep.
not cut
Office 365, you have
Keep
the
it.
prosecutor software. I mean, you can't cut those things.
Correct?
that. Right.
So you're
Those are-
looking
Those
at.
are necessary.
keep the
necessary
subscriptions.
things. All the necessary things.
Well, there was
It's
600 and,
165.
well, there was $600,000 that I wasn't aware that we've had an ongoing conversation that has changed from we don't have time to spend it to we have time to it has been spent, but I wasn't aware that there was a business meeting where it was shown that those expenses had come forth and had been approved by this Board of County Commissioners. So, I mean, there's some stuff that's missing.
This is, seems like it's actually very specific, I don't know of another word than.
Targeted?
Towards the sheriff, when we actually spent an ungodly amount of time going line by line and hearing the explanations of the needs for the infrastructure of Bonner County. And I will point out that it is really frustrating because there was an explanation given regarding the money that was currently available and what it was earmarked for and why it could not be used for this. And we went with the back and forth from sheriff presenting a very clear line item for each thing that was needed and doing a due diligence of crossing off what could reasonably be crossed off, which is what it is difficult for any department to do. And then now we have a low attendance at this meeting and 2 people walk in saying, give more money and bonuses to people that work under the commissioners and get rid of the whole aspect of increasing the enhancements for the budget. And that is not reasonable, because even if you're making an assumption, and the auditor very clearly stated when you brought up the dollar amount that was available that you felt was available, why that's not how it works, because there's more months that he has to spend. The money is earmarked, and that this is what's remaining as a need for the department. And so how can you reasonably not go through those things? He doesn't get to come in and say, give me A, B, C, and D. That's not something that the sheriff gets to do. That is not how we treat. This is not, our budget is not supposed to be used to attack in a department. It is, what is the service for Bonner County? And even with that, as the auditor tries to tell you, well, you're getting rid of subscriptions, now you want to go line by line. We did this already. Yeah. And they cleared it as a 3%. They showed you where you're going to get that, and then it's just a, let's go straight to the technology budget, which has been an axe for the 2 of you because there's a bifurcation.
To be clear, I use that as an example. All of these things were approved as necessary. I'm just saying, I'm showing the impossibility of some of these line items. I'm not trying to say those are okay to leave and others are okay to take out. That's not what I was saying. I was trying to show that you can't just erase that.
So a bifurcation of technology is a problem for Bonner County, but that's not the meeting that we're in today. We have to address technology.
But it could be.
But that's not what we're here for today. We're here to address the budget. And so the budget would change if there was a consolidation of technology and you had one to see what you had. But the argument was made yesterday that if we still needed the personnel and the items, it's just that they're going on 2 different sides. And so to come in today and say, we're not doing any of this is not reasonable. We did this yesterday.
Okay, well, in your
Mr.
statement
Chairman?
there, you said the reason for this meeting is, I believe the word you used was to adjust the budget. That's exactly what we were talking about doing.
Okay, well,
Unless I missed something.
So last night at the end of the day, I mean, and I respect all 3 of your opinions, but last night we said, do the cuts today, which was yesterday, do the cuts yesterday because we have to go wrap this together and we can't be changing. And I said, if anybody makes any changes after yesterday, Nancy's going to shoot you. And I said that to 1 or 2 of you independently.
Yep.
So
Well,
I'm hoping Nancy doesn't have to get arrested by Daryl.
Well, I wasn't prepared to make changes until we started this meeting this morning, and we dealt with it. But
we can make this budget work. We have the ARPA from 1 off.
So you can make it work.
We can make it work the way it is right now.
Okay.
And there won't be the nuclear pin pulled that I warned about yesterday.
I don't see how that
We hate
pin.
that pin.
What?
We hate that pin.
I did too.
So,
Well, in regards to the bifurcation, because we're here before, yes, I am clear, and I support what Commissioner Williams said about getting rid of the bifurcation. I think that was my understanding.
I
So-
didn't say that. I said that to address the bifurcation of technology is not what we're here to do in this meeting. We have 2 technology departments that equally needed personnel and items. That's what the recommendation was, that we ensured the security of the infrastructure, because as the auditor clearly stated, if we have an issue, it would stop everything that Bonner County can do, which is why we need to address that issue. So that is not what we're here to do. We're here to make sure that we give the services for all the departments as much as possible. And it is, and I do not see how, I would like a comment or a discussion on why the board thinks it's appropriate to give one group of people bonuses when the human resources have been targeted by like the first 50 or so meetings where it became something that was trending. How is it that they didn't deserve money? And it's because it's not reasonable to pick the commissioner's office. That is what creates the dynamic that we have in this county today. And that's not, if it wasn't available to everybody, it's not reasonable, and it's not best practices to do that. And now we're saying, because let's give 2,000. That it's not reasonable. They worked, and other people worked too. We had road and bridge work, and it's not. We don't have a process by which we're allocating bonuses in the county across the board. How do we justify to the public and to other departments?
Well,
And I'd
the
like
word
human
bonus is
resources.
self-explanatory.
I would like human resources to weigh in on when was the last time Bonner County issued bonuses to employees?
Like 3 years ago.
Was it 3 years ago? And what was the process that you used?
Well, it was based off of going above and beyond the duties. Had to be identified by the manager, submitted, and then the board decided on the amount.
And it wasn't
So
for
was-
all of the employees in Brown
Correct.
County.
Was
It was
it-
for specific
Like
people in
process
Bonner
improvement.
County.
Which is what the definition
So-
of bonus
So
is.
was there a call that was put out to the directors and managers to identify whether or not people on their team were in that position to be able to achieve a bonus? Was there a process in place for it?
Yeah, it happened during the budgeting process.
No, I mean, how did you notify which departments got to ask for a bonus?
All of them could have put in for it. It was across the board.
But not every single employee was a part of that.
Well, I'm not saying everybody would have qualified for one. I'm saying that a process in place so that everybody can have the same opportunity. That's not what we're doing. This is not
the
what we're doing.
process.
This is not what the board is doing.
This
The
is the
board is
process.
selecting 2 people to give bonuses to when there are tons of people that have gone above and beyond their job functions that are not considered. And it's not a process by which we do anything. And I personally don't agree with doing it this way. It's not fair to the organization. There are a lot of people.
So,
I just want to clarify really quickly. There was a reason I put it on the enhancements. I didn't ask for it in my budget. Enhancements, in my mind, is kind of a wish list. If in the grand scheme of things that it works out, cool. Yeah, it would be great to have a budget. My staff went above and beyond. I have seen bonuses and merits and raises and things get done for less than what my staff has gone through and done in the last 2 years. So just to be clear to this crowd in here, this was put as an enhancement, not as part of my budget. We have been attacked. We have gone through hell. The last 6 months, the fighting has been nuts. There's a reason I asked for it.
I completely understand the ask.
and that's the reason I
Yeah.
want to move it to 2.
Wait, are you going to 2 or the original, Mr.
No, I'll
Chairman?
go to 2.
Okay, well, I am in support
Only
of.
one.
Okay, I'm good. And then what were you
And
saying
it's the
about
process? We are the process.
What do you?
Daryl,
So
what-
I would like to
Well, that's fine.
see if
Go
there
ahead,
were,
Yeah.
there were
the-
people that had their hands
recognizes
up.
Sheriff.
Sorry.
So I just wanted to kind of echo what Mike said. There's been a consideration, I think he quoted $7 million that will be leftover resources that will roll over into the different funds. And the funds that we have in the IT for equipment of that $600,000, that is, some of it is being spent, is going to be rolling over to the Justice Fund. So I think Mike is going to be finding out, which he does every year. He anticipates amount, and it's actually more than we anticipate. And our anticipated revenues a lot of times goes up. So what he said, this budget works using the funds that he has, and we don't have to change a darn thing, and it
Right.
makes it go. So
And
I
I'm
mean,
good with that.
yeah. So okay, thank you, sir. That's it.
All right. So,
Did Clarissa, you want to say something?
Well, so I know everybody works really hard. Jesse works hard, the staff works hard, and I know there's been a lot of contention throughout the county. But like, it wasn't put out there, and I didn't even consider asking for bonuses for my staff. In December, my employees went through a lot to get the mail done, and I did not even consider asking for a bonus for them because I know the budget is tight. You know, if it jeopardized them getting the 3% COLA, it wasn't even something I considered asking for. But if that was, I mean, it wasn't put out there that that was something that would even be considered. Otherwise, I would have asked for a bonus for them because I feel my staff deserves it as well. But just putting it out there, it kind of wasn't relayed that that was even something that was even going to be considered. So it does leave a bad taste to employees that get left out. That's all.
So anyway, that's where I stand. And I agree with you 100%.
I don't want to be
And I'm
shot.
not saying
But nobody
that
asked.
people don't
You know,
deserve it.
That was the only
Absolutely, people
department
deserve.
that threw it on the wish list.
Okay.
We
Is there anything?
communicated to the community that our budget was going to be really tight, that we were going to be struggling. I believe that
If we
there was
lose
a,
people, our budget's not gonna matter.
there was a communication at one point from the auditor that we were going to have availability of 8%, and then that number went down to 0. So it is reasonable that those directors and electeds who did their budget didn't even consider asking for a bonus because we told them 0. And then during this process, after they submitted, now it was a possibility of 3% that we could do. We should have the same respect for all of the employees in Bonner County, and everybody should be able to, not just friends of the commissioner's office. And that's the,
You know
that
what,
is the
remove
way that
it,
it
remove
looks.
it. I don't want it. We don't need it. Remove it.
It's
No,
the way,
no,
it's
we're
the
not gonna
perception
remove it.
in the community
Remove
that
it, please.
other
No
people
way in
don't
hell I'm gonna
get it.
back off of this. So,
What do we need to do to close this, Mr. Chairman?
my recommendation is 2,000 apiece for those.
Are we going to have room to
And-
give other people an
They
opportunity?
weren't on the wish list, the budget, we're here to approve the budget, we remove that back to 2,000 apiece. That's my opinion. You two get to vote and decide the way you like. That's my vote.
I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, in the interest of what was put on the list, that we stick with what we agreed to yesterday. But
And I vote for neither. So it doesn't go on the budget at all?
oh, well, that makes it easy for me. In that case, I agree with the chairman. Thank you. I am in support of the 2,000. There you go. You're welcome, Commissioner Williams. Okay, next.
And that would include all 3 employees in that office.
So
Wait,
can
wait,
we,
I have to pause. He
I
said
don't care
all
what
3
you pause.
employees, so you have
I've
to
said
add.
what I said.
And I heard what you said, and I was telling him because he didn't hear you. He said all 3. So
All
that
3
means
in
you
our
would,
office.
so that means he's increasing the
okay,
line.
That would be 6.
I'm in support.
okay,
There you go.
You're gonna have to give me the third name then later.
We'll do that.
In
Yeah,
HR,
well,
whatever.
there's only one other person in there besides Jesse and Lisa.
I think originally Jesse said
And I think-
Veronica and her, so
Originally, I
it's
had
Alyssa.
requested Claire, myself, and Veronica, and then when Claire went to Road and Bridge, I
And,
removed
and I would recommend that the one for Elisa
Oh,
be
we'll-
cut in half and the other half
We'll
given to
let
Claire.
we'll let you deal with HR on figuring that out, but.
Okay.
So
So
can
we'll
we,
move
Can
it
we
to 6.
proceed with everything on here, and then we will use the mini ARPA to take care of the enhancements that are remaining? The
Okay.
ones that we didn't have to remove.
Okay, that works.
is there anything else we need to talk about?
No?
Okay, I think we're done.
Adjourn?
Yep. It is 10:24 and the budget is set. And I adjourn this meeting. So, Ms. Clark, that would be 2 for Jesse, 2 for Veronica,
Well,
1 for Alicia, 1 for Claire. And that will be on Redoubt News and